Good. We're good.
All right.
Yeah, I had to update. So it's going to take about 2 minutes. We already pushed live. How do you pronounce your name? Wolf? Wolf?
Uh, Ulf in Norwegian, but my
Oof.
American wife says Ulf,
Wolf?
and all my American friends says Ulf. So it's
Wolf?
and some say Wolfie, and that's fine too.
Wolfie?
Yeah, man.
Well, I guess we got two Wolfies on today.
Yeah.
Let me turn on the. Huh. Let's see.
Dig your setup back there, some geometric codes, and
Yeah, that's my wife's mandalas up there.
absolutely beautiful.
And then these are where are they at? Those are soul signatures that came in. But
Some light language.
Yeah, yeah. And then books people send me and art people send. Let me see if it's on. Okay, yeah, we're on. Hang on a second. We got 15 people on my page.
All right.
Let's see. We got about 35 people in here. So
Stuff.
I love it when we hook up like this. I've never met you before, but Lisa is a very good friend of mine. I've known her a long time. Are you down in Stavanger?
No, I'm on the other side of Norway, near Oslo.
Oh yeah.
I've seen you around the community since 2012, and
Yeah.
and watched some on and off, and I haven't had time to watch a lot of people lately because my life has gotten very hectic and a lot of
It
stuff
has.
to do, so I can't keep up with what's happening anymore. So
Well, I saw that you had a baby.
yeah,
How old's your baby?
he's
7 months, 8 months?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's absolutely amazing, and definitely just his awareness, the connection, and the way you can see in his eyes that his lights are fully on, so to
He's
speak.
lit.
He's lit.
Yeah, these little ones coming in, they're very, very high frequency.
Yeah,
I've got a
completely
grandson and I met
changed
him at
everything.
about, I have a grandson, I met him about 3 months old, maybe 6 months old. And yeah, we telepathed. It was pretty
Yeah.
cool. And you can tell he's got that same look. You know, there's so many of them all over the world, and eventually they're gonna, be known. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a mutual friend, and she told me you need to get this guy on. I'm like, I trust her totally. So
Cool.
we'll just get to know each other in front of everybody. But
Yeah.
so you've been pretty busy the last this month, last few months with the
Yeah.
baby. And what about the energy? Have you been feeling?
Oh, I've I'm one of those who are fortunate with the work that I've done so far, so I don't get in those slumps and feel too bad about the high energy protons that are coming in from the sun and everything, and the great central sun. It's more of a surf. So
Yeah.
now with this eclipse energy coming in, I've been feeling amazing all day long. And the more I am in my own energy, I'm very, very much an introvert. So the more I am in my own energy and connect with the stars and everything, I feel fired up. Then it gets a little bit more challenging if I have to be in crowds and take on more of the energy. And so I go to the city and do what I need to do, and then I get back and stay in the forest.
Yeah. Well, you're amongst friends here because everybody here can identify with everything you just said.
Yeah.
But it has been an extraordinary year so far. Everyone I've talked to, I mean, there's just been massive changes from an individual level since this whole COVID thing hit. So,
Yeah.
it's really kind of a brilliant genius move to have created this and injected into the field, because it's forced so many people to, you know, to go into themselves and to, you know, get to know themselves a little bit better.
That's what I saw early on too, with the quarantines and everything, and everybody kind of had to go be with themselves. And I thought to myself, wow, this is going to be a global shamanic occurrence as a result of this attack. I think it, on some level, you know, they know what they're doing, whoever they are. I'm not even going to go into all of that stuff, but
Right.
Consciousness has, like Jeff Goldblum says in Jurassic Park, you know, life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. So consciousness, the evolution of consciousness cannot be stopped. It's going to
Absolutely
keep expanding no matter what.
Let go or be dragged.
Yeah.
I love that Zen proverb.
Yeah.
But you know,
one of my mentors said that evolution waits for no man or their belief systems, and man or woman or their belief systems. You got to be at least inclusive of the two genders these days. Otherwise,
yeah. Well, we are multidimensional, so we don't know how many there are. We don't know anything. But what you said, evolution is life. I mean, what do we have really when you get right down to it? You know, I mean, what do we have? We have this moment, we have our lives, and you know, that's all you can actually count on. Nobody can prove anything to anybody.
Yeah. No, we're all out here winging it, trying to scratch the surface of this enormity and the multiverses and the expansion of consciousness. And you know, I think we only see what is it, 0.001% or whatever of the entire universe. 99% of it is a holographic reality.
Well,
so
and then the base component, or at least if you want to take it that deep, is the atom. And if you look at the atom, it's 90, it's the same thing. It's 98 or 97, 98, 99% empty space. My friend Ty from Sedona, he calls that the mother. And I tend to believe him. You know, that space is the mother, is
the void.
Yeah, exactly.
The void.
So I saw you put up a
feminine energy. That's the divine feminine energy. And that's where our work lies, specifically as expansive consciousness, because we have so much going on all the time and all these distractions, and just going into that void instantly fills us with the divine mother energy, and then helps us to tune in more into the divine father energy as well, so we can balance the both and have a union within of the opposite.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk about the divine feminine and the mother goddess energy over the years, because, you know, all of these communities, you know, in 2012, I mean, when they started popping up, they were 80, 90% women. And, you know, slowly there's been more masculine incarnates stepping up, no doubt at all. But you don't hear a man talk a lot about the mother energy the way you do. When did you come into that? When did you start to realize that's what was missing, you know, maybe within yourself and in the world?
I had a Kundalini awakening in 2008, which led to a psychosis, or Kundalini syndrome, as I know it as now. I then became the apprentice of my higher self, which forced me through my own personal hell. And I had to accept a lot of pain. And through the acceptance of that pain, coming to terms with my life being in shambles and everything, as I knew it was destroyed, I couldn't go back to the life that I once had. I then got nurtured and nourished and brought back to life by the divine mother energy and by my higher self. I became very, very much a feminine, masculine man, even more so through that rebirth, and realized that my whole life I had been searching for the divine father.
Yeah.
And that has led me to, well, my whole life I was searching through the various religions, lifestyles, and ethical ways of thinking. In school, I had something called the life sight, which livssyn in Norwegian, which you get to take a look through all the big major religions, the monotheistic and also the Hindu religions. I fell in love very much with the Hinduism, and found through Krishna some kind of resemblance to the feminine energy that I carried as a male. So I found some kind of acceptance of myself through that, I guess.
Yeah.
But what made me later I've come to, I always question everything, and when I land on certain at the bottom line,
Yeah.
I tend to kind of keep poking hole in the ground to see if I can go even deeper. I through that I found that our understanding of God and our understanding of the All-Father or Divine Father was it was man-made.
Yeah.
That we were creating God in our own image, rather than
Vice versa.
Yeah, rather than vice versa.
Well, that's very true. I love what you said earlier, that you were nurtured by the Divine Mother and, rebuilt yourself. And then through her, you found the Father that you'd been looking for, because the Father that was presented to all of us was a distorted God, was a distorted masculine God. So we didn't know the mother or the father. So that's interesting that you say, through the mother, because I can relate to that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because all these patriarchal religions, they make it out to be the man gave birth to the woman, which is preposterous idea. We didn't. We all came from a mother,
and she ate the apple. We ate the apple.
I'll find the apple right here if we
exactly
take a look at the anatomy and everything. So
the proof is there, the evidence
got that
is
stuck
there.
in our throats.
So it sounds like you went through a very similar experience to myself and many people that are watching. So how long did this take? Was it 4 or 5 years, or was it
3 years? 3 years of absolute torment, soul torment. I was being pruned and made into a softer, more loving being. And
So were you like the alpha male warrior type? Because you look like you might could kick some ass.
I roamed in the wrong circles, so to speak.
Yeah.
Definitely had my fair share of drugs and violence and all that.
Yeah.
Hardship in life. But when the Divine Mother grabbed me by the neck and the Kundalini energy moved up my spine, I very much became instantly terrified. I've never felt such power before, or anything like it. And I had tried every drug known to man at that point, every psychedelic that was out there back then. But nothing could compare to this energy. It just threw me right on the ground. I had to grab the grass so to not float into the sky. Everything was just brighter, louder. Everything was, it was definitely something else entirely, and it just humbled me so much. At the same time as it terrified me, it also felt like I was being cradled. I did try to commit suicide as a result of the psychosis, because everybody told me, you were losing your mind, oh my God, we got to admit him, he's flipping out. And I'm like, no, just let me go out in the grass here and I'll be fine. Then I started roaming the closets for some white, because I needed to put on white. I was being Christed after all. But that's when they started to like, we better do something with this kid. So I ended up in the hospital. The only book I had with me was Sri Isopanishad with Sri Isopanishad. It's
okay, I got you.
Metaphysical book talking about the deepest metaphysical question.
That's Hindu, isn't it? Is that Hindu?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I know which one you're talking about.
The blue one with Krishna sitting, or Vishnu sitting with all his arms controlling the multiverses.
And just so you know, again, many of the people that are going to be listening and tuning in have either been in the psych ward or incarcerated or both. So this is where all the crazy people hang out. You just found your family.
Yeah, man. I wrote a book about my story and
really
put it out with how I went from heavily medicated to heavily meditated. In the book, I also, reveal some medical things, what Prozac, Ritalin, and all these medications do to our nutrient levels, how it depletes vital nutrients like zinc, magnesium, Q10, copper, and everything that's needed to have an optimal functioning brain.
Yeah.
So the mental health industry, as it is now, is actually creating more mental health problems.
That's all it's creating, other than that and money. So did you get this information through downloads, or did you get it through researching, or both?
Both. I'm very fortunate when it comes to my research and my writing. I'll be communicating with my higher self and source, and things will kind of align and show up for me in a way that supports my current thesis or my current thought.
Yeah.
And so I found this doctor that had written this book on antipsychotics and a lot of the medications that I had been on, and decided to include it in my book, as it really supported what I was already saying in my book. And so I added it. I also added at the end what I did personally to get out of that hole and dig my way out. How I supported myself, because back then I did not have a community. I did not have Facebook or.
What year was this?
This was 2008 and 2009.
Okay.
Then I started writing the book in 2017 when I was in California, living in the redwoods for a little while.
Right on. So at what point did you run into the physical incarnation of your divine feminine? Was that part in the book too?
Yeah. I mentioned it a little bit. I'm currently writing that story into another book, which I'm going to be calling The Living Blueprint of Alchemy, which is what twin flames are, as I understand it now. Twin flames, let's start with that label. It is a label that was created by a Christian woman in the 1950s.
Really?
So it comes through a certain set of filters, belief systems, indoctrination that saturated her experience. The twin flame label is very misleading. There are more than two, multidimensionally speaking. I want people to start thinking bigger. I hear people say, I'm from the Pleiades. Well, sister, you have one avatar in the Pleiades, but you have so many more avatars spread out across the multiverse. You're kind of cutting yourself a little short with labeling yourself in that way, limiting a very limitless consciousness. The lady was named Elizabeth Clare Prophet.
I didn't realize she was that old. I read
most of her material is amazing.
I read a bunch of her stuff in the 80s.
Yeah.
God, I didn't know she was that old. She had some good stuff though.
She had a lot of good stuff, but
she was real hooked into Saint Germain consciousness.
Yeah,
I didn't realize she talked about twin flames. I never knew that, and I agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's been totally just bastardized. It's been chopped up into multi-dimensional pieces.
Yes.
So what was it like? What was it like when your partner came into your life? Was it unexpected? Were you a lot of people that have come on that are in these relationships have talked about how it was right after the moment that they basically made a decision and said, if it can't be what it needs to be, then I'm just not going to be in a relationship ever again. You know, a lot of people went celibate. I was celibate 4.5 years before I met my partner. And, but I mean, how was it for you? Were you yearning or longing for her, or did it just happen unexpectedly?
Well, I've been woke since 1997, so I thought I had found my divine partner many times. I had a song called Twin Souls in 1998, 99, and songs like Ascension. And so I was kind of already on that wavelength, looking and feeling that energy being out there. When I then read about twin flames in the spiritual community when I came on in 2010, I instantly felt a pull to the label and to the whole community. And I then had my then partner move out, and 2012 came around. This crazy energy that was going on then, and like everything was, you could feel it in the air, you could see it in people's eyes. Something was going on.
It's kind of like the bookend of 2021, because 2021's just been like no other year, within this span.
Yes. It's like super source creative energy expansion, like lots of seeds that had been planted that sprouted and came to fruition for so many.
So what do you consider that? I know we, it's fruitless to try to describe some of these things, but is like sacred union or divine union or
sacred union is a beautiful word. I love that label. It takes away a little bit of the bondage that comes with the twin flame label. The divine obsession that comes with the twin flame label, because obsession is not sacred. For it to be a sacred union, we have to commit to our spiritual maturity and do a lot of work. The inner child has to be healed. We have to be willing to be accountable for all our patterns and programs within our ancestral bloodline, and really get nitty-gritty down to work. We're going to be balls deep in all our ancestral dynamics and unconscious patterns and programs. And that's kind of what has saved me through all this, because I refuse to be powerless. I refuse to give my power away to anything, be it a deity, be it angels and demons or anything. I refuse. I am the one who's
our twin flame labels.
So to me, to answer your question, I kind of dodged it a little there. In 2013, January 26th, I had a activation again, a same Kundalini awakening, but this time another person was tuning into me from across the world, from Florida.
Is that right?
And
were you conscious of it at the time?
We both knew what was kind of going on, that we were being activated. She had also had a previous Kundalini activation.
So you guys are already familiar with each other? You already knew each other?
No, she had a common friend of mine on Facebook, and someone asked me like, do you want to meet someone? And I said, yeah. I'm always up for meeting new people. I was connecting and expanding like a mofo at the time. I don't think I left my computer other than to sleep, and I ate by the computer. I drank my water at the computer. I walked the dog, and then I came back to the computer, that kind of deal. It was constant research and expanding the horizons. So yeah, I wanted to connect, and we connected, and instantly both of us had the whole entire crown light up, connected to the higher selves with a telepathy, and telepathy enter the so-called bubble love phase.
So did you both have identical experiences, or did you both have your experience at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. And at what point did you guys go, hey, wait a minute, this happened to me at the same time? I mean, was there a moment Or was there? I'll just keep going with the story. Go. I'm
I
sorry.
think, yeah, no, you're, she was a little terrified in the beginning. So she would like move away from the computer and then come back again. And there was this push and pull, like you'd feel if she logged off and she went and did something else, the energy just got stronger, and I would feel that pull, and she would feel a pull to come back online. And like I've been going through my Facebook statuses from that time. I was high on the Kundalini crack, it's all out. It was intense. It was really, really intense and beautiful.
Yeah.
But then what goes up must come down, as it always does. And when it all came tumbling down, we both went into our unconscious, and I can only label us or describe us as narcissistic at the time.
Both of you, or you?
Both of us.
So you both went in. Now, was it you was going into the shadow for the two of you a result of you two coming together and consciously connecting?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
What goes up must come down.
Yeah.
In as above, so below in the alchemical terms. So this is alchemy. We get activated on a soul to soul levels, soul frequency. Like, everything in the universe has a certain specific frequency, and we have a frequency in our voice. I remember when you talk to certain people of your soul tribe, they can activate your molecules and atoms and your cells and everything. And
did her voice activate you? Did you recognize her voice from the beginning?
Yes. I've had activations. I've had 5 of these activations, and I recognized 12 of my female avatars, my female divine counterparts in my soul monad.
Right.
Now,
right.
Jesus brought all of his, and I'm not a religious guy, but I acknowledge Jesus as an alchemist, very powerful alchemist.
Do you feel like he incarnated his monad?
He had his whole monad here. His disciples, they were all him. He was not worried about what any of them did. They were all him. So Judas did nothing to Jesus. Jesus did that to Jesus so that Jesus could do what Jesus needed to do. He
was producing a hell of a story.
he was creating a story of a lifetime.
We're all producing our own story. So that's fascinating that you experienced that with your partner, because I've never heard anybody talk about that. That continued to sustain and expand a relationship. When you hear people talk about that, they talk about the what do they call it? The false twin flame, or the catalyst twin flame. And
there is no false, there is no catalyst.
Exactly. Right.
It's all divine. It's all divine.
How did you, and it sounds like
there is no karma. There is, I'll say first of all, like, there is no karma. A graduate being, I kind of, when I look at star seeds and feel them out, I feel 2 types of star seeds. It is the advanced star seeds who are advancing. In terms of soul school, we could say that they are about to round up college and graduate. They have not graduated yet, but they are about to graduate soul school. That's one. The other category of star seeds are the graduate beings that have already graduated college, but kind of came back to college to clean up a whole lot of mess that the kindergartners have been running around playing with gasoline and matches and So we got a little bit of a job to do to help humanity
maybe we're cleaning
graduate
up our
soul school.
maybe we're cleaning up our own mess.
That too, a lot of us came back from the future, incarnating into the past again in order to clean up a mess that we made here 500,000 years in the past, as they say, the ones that identify as Pleiadians, especially human hybrid programs that are currently going on that will eventually be them in the future. So there's a lot of interdimensional timeline shifting and parallel realities and dimensional jumps going on.
Do you think that your partner would come on with you at some point? Talk about
our experience back then.
Well, your relationship back then up to today. I mean, I'm not trying, not today. I'm just saying
we weren't able to sustain it because of the narcissism that came.
Oh, you weren't able to sustain it.
Nope.
Okay, I got you. I thought it was the same person you're with.
Oh no, I've had 5 of these.
Okay, you've had 5. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you now. Okay, I got you.
That's why I'm not so very popular in the twin flame community.
Hey,
because I am a so-called runner or whatnot.
But I got you. So
we both kind of had other experiences, and,
right.
And I had my second twin flame, and the moment I had my second twin flame and started writing about the experience, I went from having 200,000 people on my first website to having probably like 5 likes on my Facebook. That was just there for a little while. So I shifted the program, and they did not want to hear that.
Yeah. So what was different about the one you're with? Was there any triggering of the shadows in each other?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Every one of the 5 connections went into what I would call the narcissism is a very, I don't like the term anymore, wounded human, wounded inner child is a more accurate term, I feel.
Yeah.
Because calling our loved ones or a partner or our family members narcissistic, I think that's more vile than the actual narcissism itself.
It's just a like a ripple from what you started with. I mean, we have this dogmatic, distorted masculine God, and so from that you're going to have an illusion rooted in insecurity, which is going to create bullies, which are basically narcissists. And I mean, it's understandable. We all have the narcissist frequency. We have everything, right? I mean, it's not.
Yes.
But what was different about your partner? I mean, did you? This is what I was getting at a while ago. Is you don't hear couples talking about. Morgan and I have talked about this. She brought it up last month that we should do this, and I think we will pretty soon. But the greatest gift to me in this space and time is to be in this type of relationship and to go through the shadow together. It's such a powerful platform for expansion. And it's one thing, as you know, like in your own journey, my own journey, and everybody here, as they went through the dark nights of the soul and they woke up and all that. I mean, that's a very high achievement. There's nothing that will stop you. Once it gets turned on, it's on. But when you go into it with somebody else and you start to experience the great stuff, people don't understand that with it comes a very conscious, present, ever expanding relationship that if they don't keep it up, it's just like us. It's not going to continue. But now, do you guys talk a lot about going into the shadow together, or you just kind of do it on your own and then come back, do it on your own and come back?
Well, this one happened in the same way. Like I said, it was the fifth one. All of them happened in the same way. So we can just skip to the last one, where I started writing some poetry about her. I was writing poetry about so many women that were inspiring me online with their beauty, and I was very much tuning into my inner poet at the time, so that was really soul fulfilling to me, and my passion and everything was blossoming once again. And it happens every time before these connections come about. So I wrote poetry about her, and she said, well, you should only write poetry about me. And I'm like, well, that's all right, I hear you. So we started talking more and more, and she had a Kundalini awakening as a result of us talking. I then received a message from her where she spoke light language to me in a voice message, and it just activated my whole body. I was just laying on the couch like jello. Oh.
You just ran into the divine feminine. That's what happened. The goddess energy just consumed you, right?
Yeah. And I could feel it on a cellular level again, molecular, all right down into it, the space between the atoms, all of that. Source was there again. And yeah, I could not stop talking to her. Her voice as well. Her whole frequency was so enticing, like a drug. We kept talking, and she came to visit me here in Norway. We had about 3 weeks of a honeymoon time before the unconscious started showing up with her abandonment issues, my abandonment issues, all of our childhood stuff. We instantly had to begin working through it. She then went through her, I think, third dark night of the soul, with our connection being like a tower moment for her life. She was modeling and everything, and about to go places. They wanted to send her to some TV shows like The Bachelor and all kinds of stuff. But anyone that was not of light was just plowed away out of her life, which left her with 2 out of 50 people. Just swiped clean an entire tower moment, her whole life in shambles. And so she had an immense dark night of the soul. We had to then leave from New York and go here to Norway. We were here in Norway for her 90-day period. And completely, I had gone through the dark night of the soul before, so I had a great deal of empathy for her and for her process, and I knew that we could make it through this and make it to the other side with all the tools that we had, but it's still with her background of 500, 600, 700 yoga training hours, meditation schools, Reiki this, Reiki that, all of mind shit. It was still, really challenging. We then had to go to Turkey and be there for 6 months to kind of escape the whole immigration laws and everything. We had to stay in Turkey a little bit longer because of the COVID.
So this is pretty recent. This is like 2019, 2020.
Yeah. They rolled out COVID like they rolled it out like almost instantly after we started. I think
So the two of you organized this to perfection. You meet, you have a 6-week honeymoon, you go to Turkey, COVID hits, and you just keep working together throughout it. Is that, I mean,
Yeah,
I would think that.
I already had a platform of doing the healing work that I've been doing in my understanding of the sacred union, and both from my mentor Mel Brand and from my experiences. I knew that I had to navigate the energy, communicate the emotions and my thoughts, negotiate a solution, and then make a compromise when there was anything going on. I also knew that with the balancing act, if I leaned too far into her and I let her devour me, you know, the whole thing would go out of balance and she would run away. So every time she pulled away to have her space, I would also pull away, go sit with myself and meditate and find my center and balance in the line, come back to the apartment that we had in Turkey, and it would be back in balance. Sometimes it would last for a few hours, sometimes it would last for a day, and then it would be we have to figure out how to do the whole balancing act.
Do you find that when you come back from these times where you energetically separate, that you actually come back and you expand?
Yes. Yes. It's like when I go and find her inside of me, then she hears me better. So when I went and meditated and I spoke to the void, to the feminine, to the silence, and to my inner darkness and to my womb, because we all have that etheric womb in us. That's where we store all this third energy that we co-create, and you can feel it building up in your solar plexus. And I just spoke to her and told her, like, I'm so sorry for my immaturity. I'm so sorry for, I now know better. I will do better. And then she had definitely felt and heard me, and there was a shift when I came back. That's when I knew, okay, I think I can actually make this one work. I think I actually have the mechanics of the sacred union down, because I had read all the David Data stuff. You know, I'd read about polarity, but found that union was kind of above the whole relationship.
So I mean, and so we're in these human bodies, and you're in the body of a male. I'm in the body of a male. In terms of like functioning as a human being, or quality of life as a human being, or wisdom or lack thereof, or power, or whatever, presence, all the dynamics of our existence in this day and age. Is there any difference, any notable difference before you met this one and who you are today? Like, what influence did at that depth did the mother energy, the divine feminine, have on you?
I used to be so angry in my videos in 2015, 2016, 2017.
Oh, this is funny.
Very frustrated, pissed off spiritual dude. You know, like I was out to, like, I remember Mac Khan made it was a beautiful video, but it shattered everyone's twin flame belief systems. You know, he mixed up soulmates and twin flames there for a little bit, and everyone flew off the handle. And I remember, like, I'm gonna speak for the twin flame collective. Like, who the fuck did I think I was? You know. It was, so I was very angry, and I wanted to set things straight, and I realized eventually that, you know, I was angry with myself, because I had yet to embody what I was expecting everybody else to embody. And I was, you know, how it is with Osho, for example, just to mention some of these teachers. he ended up being very, very human at the end, doing lots of Valium and being with other women, and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
None of us are
So
walking on water.
exactly. So
Doesn't mean we
that,
don't have some wisdom.
yeah, that used to be like very, very cut and dry for me. Then okay, if that's what he did, then I would swipe all of that wisdom off the table and be like, where's
Yeah.
the purity?
Yeah, I
And
got you. Yeah.
but I eventually forgave myself, and in my forgiveness of myself and my lack of purity and my lack of maturity at the time and accountability, I forgave that, and then I could also forgive my fellow man for the splinter in their eye, and then I removed.
Why you removed the log in your eye, right? Yeah, I can totally relate to like 99.99% of everything you've said, and I can't even think of the 0.001% that I would leave out just out of humility. But
That's the atoms.
yeah. So, but I mean, I can relate to everything you're talking about in terms of the relationship, in terms of the way that you lost yourself and found yourself. I mean, it's the same pattern, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to at least parts of your story. But like, from listening to you and the way that you go into the void within yourself and speak to her, I can really relate to this. And the reason that it was different for me was because I'd always gone there for myself. And I knew that place, especially when I was waking up 10 years ago. And then I noticed one day, oh, you do that with her. And then something would happen. Like you said, something would shift. Or now that she's in Australia right now, something else will happen. Like my light body will go over there, and the humans will start to physically feel everything that's happening. It was about 2 weeks ago that same thing happened. It actually came on. It was almost like the third energy started it, like a knowing, like a premonition. So I lay on the couch and I went to that space, and it was all feminine. I didn't know what was going on. It was just, you know what I mean? But anyway, so for 45 minutes or an hour, it went from that to her, and it just went into this cosmic lovemaking. No lust, no porn. It was just this. And so what happened was she sends me a text, and she says, can you do something for me? I said, yes, but not until I'm done with my divine feminine. That's all I said to her. And then she says, oh my God, I should have known 45 minutes ago, this started happening. And she's telling me in detail what it was incredible. And then it went on for about another 45 minutes, but it was the light bodies are some aspect of ourselves connected, and we were connected to them. And I think when people talk about these relationships, this is a part of it that is just going to get bigger and bigger. And the old codependent and give and take imbalanced relationships are just all aspects of it are going to leave, to include what we used to call intimacy, which was just sex. And
that's the twin flame mission.
Yeah.
That's the twin flame mission. We came in here with the 12 chakras activated, and the number 12 the 12 disciples, like 12 monads, like I mentioned. So a lot of people get hooked on this one twin flame and in obsession. For those that feel that pain, their twin might have died. Their twin may never awaken or have moved on, married their karmic, whatever the situation is. Forget the name, forget the face, go in search of that energy inside you. and be open to that energy coming inside you through another body once again. You can have this experience again. It's in your blueprint. You are templated for the sacred union. It will eventually be your reality if you allow it. But then we have to kind of let go of that whole religious.
You have to let go of all of it.
All of it, yeah.
We have to let
it.
go of what we're even saying now.
Well, yeah, even
it's
that.
just like, now let me ask you this. There seems to be, and I know we all have multiple purposes, like multiple missions, you might say.
Yes.
But there seems to be, if you go to any person or whatever, they've got like a prominent mission. You can see it. I can think of friends of mine that are, I would say they are androgynous, and they might have a mission where they're sharing what they've downloaded over the years or something like that. Do you think that, and not that it matters, I'm just curious because there's really no right answer. Do you think that everyone is templated at a very high priority, or maybe the high priority, to be in a sacred union? Or do you think that that's an attribute or a priority mission wise for a select number? Not to make any differentiation that one's better than the other, but just, do you think there's different templates that are being emphasized as a primary by, different souls?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a blueprint, and that's why I call twin flames the living blueprint of alchemy, because we come in with this template that can activate a process of alchemy within another. That's why we make such great healers, talkers, speakers, all of this, leaders. I don't believe in spiritual hierarchy or any of these things. I believe in a puzzle piece. If you take out one piece of the puzzle, the entire puzzle is incomplete. So there's no one more important puzzle piece than another, even if it's in the center or if it's in the corner. It doesn't matter. It's incomplete either way. I do understand the twin flame, so to speak, as we came in with these 12 chakras activated. Most people don't even have 7 chakras activated. They have dormant glands and organs. The thymus has to be tapped awake in most people. The dream chakra is shut down, and we see more and more.
Is that the one in the back of your head?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I started having this flapping 2 or 3 months ago, but a lot of people were talking about that, and I've heard people talking about it. They call it different things, but that this flap is opening up in many, many people.
The well of dreams, my mentor called it. I love that term. The one that is the most important when we have these dark night of the soul and Kundalini awakening is the manifestation chakra below the heart, which is the pancreas most likely, or the adrenals. I don't remember exactly right now. And then it is the heart, of course, the most important chakra, not the third eye like so many think. If you open the third eye without an open heart, you'll have an experience like I had and go into psychosis. So the heart is definitely the most important chakra. Then when what people call the higher heart is actually not a heart chakra or higher heart at all. It's the dimensional chakra. It helps us to shift energetic, help us shift vibrational frequency so that we can kind of shift from the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension, which is, only a short journey from the mind to the heart, I would say. But yes, we are templated with this sacred union. So we are coming in now. We came in, the ones that are called the twin flames, or as my mentor called them, the graduate beings. If we go back to the whole soul school way of thinking, So these are the ones that already have graduated and volunteered to come back to assist humanity in evolving from relationships into the sacred union template. So that's basically our entire mission. It was to come here to swap out the old dysfunctional relationships that we knew and understand here on planet Earth, the way we relate in business, the way we relate in government, in politics,
in everything.
In
right?
everything.
The mother is the mother is everywhere.
No more of that. So it tinkered with that template, remove it.
Well, it makes sense to me.
Then re-templated with this sacred union, so everyone will have the twin flame eventually. Everyone will experience that way of connecting.
Well, I mean, it only makes
love.
sense. Yeah, it makes sense to me because there's a little bit of a lag. I'm not trying to interrupt you.
No.
But I'm getting a really loud tones in my left ear, which is the mother. The mother speaks in that ear.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to me because, because we're having an external experience in a very, dense physical matter. And and I guess all of us, or the soul itself, is oneness, and is programmed, like you said at the top of the show, to always grow, to always expand. There is no standing still. But that in the experience itself, which is very challenging, I feel, from a soul level, like through our other incarnations where there's less polarity, less duality, that in order to find oneness, how are you ever going to find oneness if you can't find it with one other person, right? So then you start to see these two become one, and then that energy, like a tuning fork, and I'm sure you and your partner have noticed this when you go out sometimes, or some of the things that get attracted to you, or, we had a period of time when she was in the States over here, we were traveling around the States, and all of a sudden, all around us, people were coming together. Like, just, we'd introduce two people, or you know what I mean? I mean, like, it was almost like a contagion, where they would pick up the sacred union frequency and then all of a sudden meet somebody, and boom. There was
the
like
third energy.
Yeah.
The third energy emanates off of you, and it can be felt. It can even be felt on the grid. If you tap into the grid, and you know of a set of graduate beings who are connecting to one another, and you can feel them filling up their joint unified field with the third energy, and you can feel it on the grid. It lights up the grid.
Do you think that, and again, there's no right or wrong answer, I'm just curious, the third energy, I mean, this is, after all, now the age of Trinity, right? I mean,
yes.
I never really, I'd always heard of the Trinity, but and then once I met my partner, which was in 2015, she was telling me about the download she was receiving, like in the early 2000s. And it was like, we're coming out of duality, we're going into Trinity. So as time has gone on, and we've had triad experiences, and we've had many, many experiences with the third energy, to include Soulogy coming to us as its own consciousness. But my question is, do you feel like that the third energy in general on this new grid is something that's very active and very immediate? Like, do you feel like that maybe when we get a little bit further, that it's almost going to be like an instant manifestation type of thing, where this third energy is that, it's almost like just as an analogy, people talk about AI. I think everything's a God substance. So, if AI is any different than me, then I'm missing something. But almost like a cosmic AI, like the third energy becomes a consciousness in itself, thinks
yeah.
for itself, aligns, you know what I mean? And it's a force, just like what I was telling you what happened to me the other day. Something came in. Now I know it was me. I know it was an aspect of me, but it
Yes.
certainly felt like there was something, and I feel like it was most likely her and I, or the third energy that or something, but it was so powerful. And then for it to be passed on or felt at the human level, that just
Your light bodies were canoodling.
Man, I've seen our light bodies. They're pretty crazy.
Your light bodies were canoodling, you know.
Have you had those experiences? Like we've made a few videos on some of the experiences we've had with sacred sexuality, which is pretty mind-blowing.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I experienced childhood sexual abuse, which is also mentioned in my book. And after my Kundalini awakening, I experienced erectile dysfunction as well. This whole Kundalini energy and learning to surrender to it, and the healing of the light body and the light body activations and all these things that come with this path, heals everything.
Yeah.
My childhood sexual abuse traumas and everything, I can talk about them, work with it, coach others who have experienced it. I can talk about something as humiliating as erectile dysfunction, without any issues.
I'm with you, man.
Every part of me that has experienced some kind of human trauma, and it's all thanks to that third energy.
I think and again, I totally resonate with you. And I had the same thing happen. I had the same thing happen to me. And I can tell you, I'm going to be 60 next month, and I don't know what the hell's happened in the last few months, but there ain't nothing wrong. It's all the old distortions gone, that all the neural pathways are changed. If I could tell men anything, would be to do whatever you can to step away from it all. The porn, the bang, the slam bam, thank you, ma'am, thrusting, the masturbation, the whole 9 yards, and then go in, and obviously if you have that feminine, that incarnated feminine that's carrying the sacred wisdom, it makes it easier. But these are the things you're attracting, but what I'm trying to say is this energy that's created between these two in sacredness and intimacy is in itself, you don't have to do shadow work. Like if you can go into that, I'm not saying that we don't have to, but you can go into that space, which can be holding hands. It can be across the other side of the world. It can be, in bed, that looks more traditional, but it is a healing frequency of the highest regard. Yes. And I totally relate to what you're saying. And I know there's a lot of men out there, because I've been there, you've been there, and struggled with all of that shit. And there is a way out, and it is real, and it's being anchored on this earth by way of these unions, and I'm sure some people on an individual level. But I'm just here to say I'm living proof, and it's
the cure for me was in letting go of a lot of that lustful, of course, porn early on had to go. It didn't feel good in my heart anymore, so it had to be. I then shifted and moved from having, because I was very good at self-pleasuring when I was a child, when I was younger, and I would experience, ejaculation-free orgasms. And I went back into the self-pleasuring that I did then, which was the imagination.
Right.
I would imagine a woman and close my eyes and, start, this feels good, I'm not going to take it any farther, don't worry. So,
Hey, this is Soulogy. You can do whatever you want. But
so
again,
the imagination, led me to my sexual energy and back to being in control of the sexual energy and my pleasure, and not feeling shame for it and guilt for it due to the abuse that happened to me, and not feeling like I was dirty or
yeah,
unworthy of pleasure and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I owed it to myself to explore. So masturbation wasn't necessarily the bad thing. It was just the ejaculation part of the masturbation that kind of gave me more of those looping issues. So when I learned to build the sexual energy, much like a woman, here we go with the divine mother energy once again, kind of guiding me in my sexuality, to take it slower and to build it up, and let the energy get stored in the various organs. Through that, I discovered that eventually, after an hour of self-pleasuring, I could, if I wanted to, ejaculate, and it still didn't.
it didn't
It still
deplete you.
gave me that glow and radiance of
Yeah.
having made
See,
love.
that's one thing I noticed, is that it's not about quantity, first of all. It's about quality and presence, whether you're with yourself or with your partner.
Yes.
And you can tell, I can tell, and it's not even, you don't have to think about it. But whether you ejaculate or not, once you're through the experience, let me say this, whether you ejaculate or not, you're going to have what I call soulgasms, or orgasms within the body, in other parts of the body. Could be a leg, could be an arm, could be a finger, it could be a lot of things. But there's but what the difference is, that when it's over, so to speak, your energy level, it's like like you just snorted cocaine or something. I mean, it's like, it's you're not in that pattern of ejaculation and go to sleep. Yeah,
No,
you're not in a drop. It becomes this, it's almost like somebody plugged you in to a light, you know what I mean, into a plug, or somebody gave you a high powered battery to replace your, I don't know how to explain it.
I was just gonna say that you've now learned how to charge your battery. Like,
Yeah.
we're human batteries. Now we know how to charge it instead of
Yeah.
being depleted. So we're running around like Duracell bunnies after rather
Cosmic
than
bunnies, making
yeah.
third energy golden child babies in the ether.
So that's what the alchemists call the inner laboratory, when we can move energy from organ to organ and revitalize our human vessel. And it's one of the keys to immortality lies within understanding that sexuality.
And then there's the link to creativity.
Oh yes,
that's and this year has been a hell of a year, and I've got no complaints. And sure, the energies still fluctuate, but we're processing things so much faster. We can handle 10 a day now. It used to be 1 a month, right? And I mean, so the expansion is there to offset whatever we're clearing, because whatever we're clearing now tends to be really, really deep stuff that was just hidden away. I mean, it's because we've had a lot of conscious effort, but one of the things that's occurred too is, like you were talking about with these communities, like with Twin Flame and other labels, a lot of the stuff, like on a personal level, that got me here, like writing spiritual rap, putting productions together, making things happen, writing poetry, just all this stuff just went away. It all died. And then very recently, as this sacred sexual energy connection with Morgan, this whatever you want to call it, this reformation from the cellular up. I mean, I can
Yeah.
feel the creativity coming on now. And it's coming on just like a true sacred sexual energy or interlude, in that it's slow. It's just slowly building up, as opposed to trying to go out and write a top 50 hit, or, trying to go out and make something really big happen. It's coming on really, really, and everything is. Every single aspect.
That means that you can go and touch your guitar and you'll instantly tune into that place of yourself that would make a masterpiece. Or then you can move to your writing, and instantly you tap into the divine muse energy, and it's like silken words coming out of your mouth or your pen. It's no matter what aspect of my creativity I place my awareness at the time, it's going to be so much more like quintessential now as compared to a couple of years ago. Like the maturity of that presence that I have with the instrument or the pen is
yourself
different now.
And then with your partner, it's like it's all getting really amazing. And regardless of everything that's going on the movie scene, on the movie script, the individual expansion that's occurring in this world, you just cannot deny it. The mother energy is anchored and it's expanding like a billow of energy, like when a bomb goes off and the mushroom cloud comes out. It's like she's just, this is not going to be stopped. It's going to be interesting to see how that's physically represented. And what I mean by that is
we see that with their counterattacks now, with the COVID and the lockdown and everything they're trying to do to put a lid on it. It's not going to work.
Yeah. I saw this meme the other day, and it was all these little kids cutting up and raising hell, like I'm talking like, 8, 9, 10, 12, like a family of kids. And it said, everybody's a gangster until mama comes home. And it shows a lady walking in the door, and everybody's like sitting there knowing they're going to get their butt whooped. That's what I feel like's happening now. And watching
that's what happened to me.
That's what happened to me.
My Kundalini awakening. I was like, boom, you ain't no gangster no more. You show you a tough guy, I'm gonna snap your neck, snap your spine here. Ah. No, it's very humiliating.
Yeah.
And through that humiliation, we kind of become more humble. Yeah. And it's a continuation of a humbling experience. The more I go, from a snippy know-it-all to eventually, you go, okay,
I don't know nothing.
Know much at all.
I don't know nothing.
I'm willing to learn. And that's when shit really starts to happen too. Like as soon as I start, I bust one of my belief systems and I go, whoa, okay, I was completely off kilter with that one. But I had fun with it while it lasted. And then I have some new epiphany and I'm like, whoa, okay, well, I'm going to go with this one for a while, but it's probably not the definite answer either. I should probably keep digging. And now the journey is becoming fun, more and more fun with everything. And letting go of all the definitions and labels and being more fluid in how I let my reality perceive itself. It's getting very interesting.
We should this is interesting. We could talk for hours and hours and hours. We should get together again maybe after the first of the year. I'll reach out to you.
I would love that.
Yeah, and if your partner ever wants to come on and y'all want to talk about sacred union, I know y'all are full of code. That's
we are. We are making our presence known now through our page and through our material. She joined me for her first live since we met. We had our live in New York when I was there with her in 2019, and then we went completely off the public, so to speak, and just worked with clients and trying to work through the shadow. It was so overwhelming, especially for her. And now coming into this co-creative space where we have more time for the lighter things rather than the ancestral.
Well, plus you have a little rainbow child.
Oh yeah.
You have a little ET running around.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I tell you,
just watching him grow up. His first words were "daddy." I'm not gonna lie.
is that right?
I'm smitten with the little guy. And I spoke to him. I spoke to him in the womb, and had people say that they felt the presence of a little light-haired boy around me for years. And so he definitely picked us both out long before we even met. So this whole there is no time, there is no space, the whole mystical experience just keeps getting more and more mystical the more I allow it.
Right.
The less I cling to my reality.
It's like the things we experience in dimension are physicalizing in our awakened consciousness, and that's what I keep, coming to every day is I'm like, if I'm here, I'm not going to just stop at, like for instance with Morgan, let's be together and live such and such place. I want to travel the world. I want to be in a world where there's no borders. I want to teleport. I want to, the things that we do in dimension. Yeah. Why wouldn't we be able to do them here? And this talk, this limiting talk that we have as well, which I think goes back to what you were talking about with the labels and the connotations and even predictions. I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like we've accelerated the timeline many, many times, especially over the last couple of years.
The quickening and the split. Now we see the splits and the gap between the split so vast, and it's going so fast now. Eventually it's going to be too late for us to jump from one timeline to the other because the gap is going to be too big. So
I wonder what that's going to look like.
If you're watching this and you understand timelines, please tune into the timeline of your highest version of self. Please do that. That is my greatest wish for anyone who's watching this. Tune into the highest timeline, the highest version of yourself available to you in this now, and you will come along on this adventure of becoming 5D Earth for sure.
Right on. All right, brother. I'll reach out to you, and best to you and your family. And
thank you so much for having me, and sacred union blessings to you and Morgan. And I look forward to hearing more of those light body travels.
I'll tell you some in private.
Yeah. I was hoping you'd say that. You have a great weekend. And
all right, brother. You take care.